Hi, this is Yaro, and welcome to my presentation of the 5 phases growth framework, which will show you how to grow your services business to $100,000 per month in revenue. Now, I put together this presentation because I recently went through a process of growing my own services agency to $100,000 per month, and in fact, we're beyond that now. And I wanted to share what worked, what didn't work, and all the things I learned along the way while it was fresh in my mind. I've been an online entrepreneur since the late 1990s, and I actually had an agency all the way back in the year 2000, which never became a $1 million business, but I did learn a lot growing it to the point where I was making just $10,000 per month. But it was a real struggle to get to that point, and it never went any further before I sold that business. After that, I started a coaching education business. So basically teaching people what I'd learned about how to build audiences. I was actually starting in the world of blogging and podcasting all the way back in 2005, 2006 when it was brand new. And I had a 10-year career essentially being a coach, consultant, teacher, and also learned a lot about what it takes to build an audience, create product, sell yourself as an influencer is what they'd call it now, but certainly back then, selling my knowledge, selling myself as an educator as well. And then, of course, most recently with my second agency, we did grow it to beyond $1 million per year. In fact, we're pushing almost $2 million per year as I record this right now. So there's a lot of experience there for me to share. We hit plateaus, we had all kinds of challenges. Obviously, I got frustrated many, many times. I've always been in charge of marketing. It's always been my responsibility to grow the business, to find the customers. So I wanted to put together a presentation that really takes you through the 5 phases that I believe are necessary to work through to grow your business to the point where it is making $100,000 per month. Bear in mind, this is a presentation that I first wrote. So this is actually a written guide that you can get access to. In fact, you're probably seeing the written guide right on the same page as you're watching this video. If you don't have the written guide, or perhaps you're watching this video on YouTube and you want to make sure you get all the resources, or maybe you want to share this with your friends, colleagues, just go to insidegrowth.com. You can join my newsletter there, and I'll immediately send you in the first email a direct access to the page where the written 5 phases growth framework is, along with this video presentation as well. So you will always find the most up-to-date version there at insidegrowth.com. Since this is a written presentation, I do basically read it out to you, and I prepared some slides to illustrate all the key concepts in the 5 phases, which is what you're about to watch in this 1 hour long deep dive presentation, all about how to build essentially a growth machine inside your services business. So I hope you enjoy this presentation. Let's dive straight in. The 5 phases growth framework. How to grow your services business from $10,000 to $100,000 per month, created by me, Yaro. Who is this framework for? You run a business selling services as a freelancer, agency, coach, or consultant, and you make at least $10,000 per month. Your goal is to 10 times that result and make $100,000 months your new normal. You could own an agency and you want to scale to the next level. You could be a freelancer looking to grow revenue and grow a team so the business doesn't rely on you as much. You could be a coach or consultant swapping hours for dollars, and you've hit a wall in growth because you're still operating as a mostly one-person show. This growth framework is not for brand new startups with no sales. It's not that the concepts won't work, but you may have fatal flaws in your business model. Even if you do the right things, you will struggle because your system is broken. The only way to know if your business model works is to have paying customers. This gives you the feedback and learning that can only come from delivering a service to paying clients. It also takes money to grow. You will build a team and invest in creating growth assets. Hiring help will give you back time and focus, while specialists can provide the skills to scale to $100,000 months. Who am I? My name is Yaro, and I've been an entrepreneur since the late 1990s. The 5 phases growth framework I'm about to teach you is the result of 25 years of accumulated experience growing online businesses. I built a 6-figure agency in my early 20s, then a $1 million coaching business before I turned 30. Today, I am co-founder and CMO of a second million-dollar company, also my second agency. It is the experiments, successes, and failures I've lived through growing these companies and coaching hundreds of entrepreneurs to grow their companies that I have distilled down into a framework to grow your services business. In 25 years, the internet has obviously changed. What I did to reach $100,000 months with my current services business happened during the last few years. I am active today as the CMO of my agency, still experimenting as we grow to the next level. I am very familiar with the challenges of trying to grow from $10,000 months to $100,000 months. Your marketing budget is small and you always feel constrained. You want to run ads on every platform, every marketing experiment sounds like it has potential, yet you simply can't afford to do it all. Every dollar counts. Marketing must lead to new customers. Since the beginning, I have been devoted to a certain kind of entrepreneurship, focused on freedom first. I look to leverage technology to build automation into my companies, so processes happen even when you sleep. I create marketing assets that can be leveraged over and over again. More on this coming up. Despite the power of automation and evergreen marketing assets, I've also come to a conclusion that as entrepreneurs, we must accept as a fact of life. Nothing in marketing works forever. If you want sustainability, consistent revenue, you're going to need forever marketing. My solution to the forever marketing problem is to build a marketing machine. I'll explain what that machine is later in the framework, but it's important you understand that running the machine will become a forever job if you try and maintain it yourself. The key to reaching $100,000 months and sustaining that level is to have a team run the machine for you. You can't go it alone unless you are happy to hold your company back from the growth you no doubt want. The 5 phases introduction. This guide is brief. No one has the attention span to listen to hours of video content. My goal is for you to understand what the 5 phases are, how they build on each other, and how you can take your company through them. I will illustrate the phases with examples from my companies. You should envision what it would be like to apply each of the phases to your business. Now let's move on to the 5 phases growth framework. Phase 1, marketing assets. First impression, trust, and repeat exposure. To reach $100,000 months, you're going to need several high-impact marketing assets and more leads. I'll explain the most important marketing assets coming up and tell you more about lead generation in the next 2 phases in this framework. Marketing assets are specific content pieces that do much of the work to convince people to purchase from you. Your first customers that led to your first $10,000 a month likely came from one campaign that relied on one or just a few key marketing assets. For example, graphic and video ads driving people back to your website, which is a marketing asset. Your first customers may have come from one partner who was willing to recommend your services by you presenting a webinar, another marketing asset, to their audience. Or it could have been a platform like Fiverr or Upwork, where you invested energy to build a profile good enough to land jobs. First impression marketing assets. The reason you need many marketing assets is because most leads are not hot leads. But let's start with the hot leads because even those you may be turning away. Your hot leads are people who are ideally suited for what you sell, are in a ready-to-buy state, and see your offer as a good solution. These people only need one exposure to your offer and they purchase. However, as nice as this sounds, you still have to present a good first impression with your offer. Your goal here is to not make a bad impression because everything is already lined up for you to make the sale. Don't blow it. Note that when I say first impression content, I specifically mean content experiences where a potential customer completes a significant assessment of your offer. It doesn't happen during a 30-second video on social media, even if this could be the first time they discover you. Discovery matters a lot, but the true assessment of your offer that leads to a purchase usually happens on your website, during a webinar or video, by reading your book or report, your launch campaign or challenge experience, or long-form speaking with you on stage or on a podcast. Depth is important. They are deciding whether they are going to purchase based on the content they are consuming. A lot of businesses make poor first impressions and wonder why they never make sales despite driving traffic to an offer page. First impression content is not quick and easy to produce. You will add to it, refine it, and build it over time. Every company I launched started with the worst version of our website. From that point onwards, I incrementally improved it by doing the following. Refine the copy, especially the main headlines. Add testimonials, starting with text and images, then videos when available. Add at least one hero video testimonial. Create new content blocks to deal with objections as I learn them. Create new content blocks to speak to desires as I learn them. And create new content blocks to highlight features. Add pages to target customer profiles and niche keywords. Plus, all of this needs to be presented in a professional yet simple layout. Every business should have a website that delivers a strong first impression. It's a mandatory marketing asset. If you don't have one or it's not good enough, prioritize improving it. Once you have at least one quality first impression marketing asset, you can be confident sending potential customers to it. You should improve it over time. You know it's working when hot leads experience your first impression content and book sales calls or purchase directly. Selling to warm leads. Unfortunately, there are rarely enough hot leads to get you to steady $100,000 months. To scale further, you're going to need to sell to people who are not quite ready to buy, the warm leads. These people are still your target customer, they have the problem you solve, are looking for solutions, but haven't purchased yet. They have not purchased because they're comparing options, their budget is not there yet, the timing is not right, there is an education gap, they don't understand what is the best solution for their problem yet. There's some kind of roadblock, their boss partner needs to approve, a lack of trust, poor experiences in the past, a major feature is missing, offer appears like it's not specifically for them, they are confused by all the options. By having multiple marketing assets and multiple exposure points, you can deal with every reason that is stopping them from buying from you. When done well, your marketing assets achieve the following. 1. Generate repeat exposure over time so prospects are constantly reminded that they have the problem and you can solve it. 2. Build the necessary trust and make you the clear choice by demonstrating social proof, providing education, and delivering upfront value for free. Because you have to deal with a range of issues that each potential customer is considering, you need time and multiple exposures to your content to hit the points that may matter to them. You repeat the same messages over and over, deal with rejections, eliminate confusion, build trust, and appear to always be there when they are online. Then, when the timing and conditions are finally right and they are ready to buy, they book a sales call or click your buy button. You get the sale, perhaps a week later, perhaps a year later. Which marketing assets are best? I've relied on the following marketing assets to sell my products and services. A company website, long-form sales page or sales letter, a VSL, video sales letter, webinar, email sequence, an email mini course, a report or guide like this one you are listening to now. My coaching clients have also leveraged online challenges to get customers and have sold directly from the stage, presenting as a speaker. For my companies, I always start with just one solid marketing asset. My current agency grew beyond $100,000 months, relying on a strong website experience to secure sales calls that lead to clients. The following additional assets also play a big part in the relationship building process to convert warm leads into clients. Lead magnets like handouts, guides, micro courses, blogs and articles, a podcast could be yours or others you appear on, social media content, YouTube channel, email newsletters and sequences, testimonial video interviews, a testimonial hero video, which is a more cinematic testimonial video, and paid ads for discovery and retargeting. More on that coming up soon. I build these over time, using them to augment my main asset, for example, adding a testimonial hero video to my company website, or as additional assets as part of a marketing process. The road to $100,000 months, more and better marketing assets. To reach $100,000 months with your services business, you need high quality marketing assets and you need more of them. You're losing sales right now because people who discover your company are scrolling away, feeling doubt, have unanswered questions, and wonder whether your competitors are the better option for them. Creating one good asset and improving it over time is a big job, one that requires expertise. Ideally, you should be working on these assets all the time because you can never have enough. If you're not a web designer, writer, graphic editor, video editor, social media star, a document layout specialist, interviewer, podcaster, YouTube optimizer, and so on, you can't possibly produce the quality and quantity you need. Even with the efficiencies of AI, you still need a talented team to implement what AI can produce and to control for quality. On top of this, you are operating your company and delivering your service, which likely leaves you little time for marketing. The only solution to scale to $100,000 a month is to hire people to build these marketing assets for you. With my first agency, my offer was editing services for university students. I built the website myself and wrote the copy myself. I wasn't skilled at design or copywriting, so I knew there was room to improve. Although I was reluctant to spend the little profit I was making at the time, I took the leap and invested $5,000 in a complete redesign and rewrite of my website copy. I hired a specialist agency who got to know my business and my target customer and went to work. The finished product was a website that presented a more professional first impression and was far better at selling the service I offered. It wasn't anything flashy, but I knew it achieved the most important thing. It didn't make people question how legitimate my business was or leave them confused about what we could do for them. That was just one of many times I have hired help to make my company websites. I've also hired writers to create content for articles and scripts for videos, film crews to interview clients for testimonial videos, editors to give me the finished videos, and so on. As the person in charge of marketing for my company, I am chief strategist and the orchestrator of the team that produces the assets. You need to become this person, not the person building the assets yourself. If you are going to scale beyond your current level, the only way forward is to hire specialists. People are the ultimate leverage. Key people to hire: a web designer, video editor, copywriter, researcher, editor. If hiring is not your strong point, my team can build your team. Visit headofhiring.com and let us know who you need to hire and what you want them to do. Phase 2, Content Foundation, long-term lead generation. Phases 2 and 3 focus on lead generation. This is how people with buying intent, prospects, first find your business. You already have some customers, but you need many more to reach $100,000 months. My $100,000 growth framework is broken into 2 phases for long-term and short-term lead generation. Ideally, you do both at the same time, but as the name implies, one takes longer. While paid ads, short-term, can deliver visitors almost instantly, long-term is going to take time, months or even years before it becomes significant and reliable. You do long-term lead generation because when done right, it is consistent, harder for competitors to take from you, and provides the most important benefit: reputation. Your reputation online is defined by what people discover about your company. This can include articles that return search results, Google and AI, social media content, interviews, reviews, videos on YouTube, and press features. This content serves multiple purposes. 1, a discovery point for someone to first find your company, lead generation. 2, reputation as a trusted source, especially important when prospects compare you to competitors. And 3, authority to help your content rank in search and AI results, links back to your website. The double impact lead generation flywheel. Here's the content formula that played a big part in attracting enough new customers to get us beyond $100,000 months in my current company. When done right, this is a flywheel strategy. Each element positively impacts the other elements for compound results. You publish content on your website about topics that your target customer looks for. You get earned media coverage, features on websites, podcasts, YouTube channels, social media, which helps generate leads and builds authority, links back to your website. Because of all the links and mentions you generate, your website is a top result in search and AI queries. Your reputation enhances because there are so many social proof points online: interviews, reviews, testimonials, articles. So you appear to be everywhere as a trusted source when prospects are researching options. Once you start this flywheel, you will enjoy double impact lead generation. One, direct traffic from being featured from the earned media coverage. And two, links to your website increasing authority so your articles rank in search and AI. Plus those warm leads that I talked about earlier who are still assessing whether you are the best choice, they will see all the content and coverage of your brand when they research your company. You will appear as an authority in your industry, making you the best choice to buy from, so you stop losing customers to competition, a reputation win. Marketing flywheels take time to build, but it's worth it. Most of your competitors won't do this, so it becomes a moat. When you do this correctly, people will discover you organically, review your high-quality marketing assets, research you online, and then book a sales call or purchase directly. It can feel like magic, and it's a key step towards consistent $100,000 months. How to make this work for your company? This strategy requires you build two functions in your company. One, a publishing arm, content creation, and two, an earned media arm, brand exposure. You need to publish one high-quality piece of content at least weekly. You are 100% in control of this. When I say high quality, I mean a complete answer to a question, not a 30-second video. It needs to be a comprehensive article and/or video that addresses a specific issue that your audience cares about. Ideally, you get featured externally at least twice a month. This is not in your control, so expect your results to vary. More is obviously better. External features could be an interview going live on a podcast or YouTube, an article about you or your company is published, reviews are submitted on other websites, anything that brings exposure and links back to your website. Early on for my current company, we hired a writer to publish a high-quality article per week and a podcast outreach agency to book interviews. We also hired a contractor to do design presentation slides, which were combined with an audio track we made internally by reading out the articles we were publishing. The end result was a YouTube video version of each article. This was a deliberate strategy to hit 3 media types: written, audio, and video, and 3 different platforms: blog, podcast, and YouTube. The articles focused on topics and keywords people search for related to the service we sell. These articles still show up on the first page of results for these terms and as reference sources for AI chat results. Planning a content strategy for your website is beyond the scope of this guide. I suggest the following article formats as a good place to start. Service-specific pages, for example, virtual assistants that do your bookkeeping. Client-type specific pages, for example, bookkeeping services specifically for plumbers. Content based on keywords, for example, how to choose bookkeeping software. Comparison articles, for example, top 10 best bookkeeping software. Your goal is to establish a foundational layer of content, both on your website and out on the internet, on various platforms in various formats by adding to it week after week. Consistency wins. You don't need a world-famous podcast to feature you. That's obviously something you aspire to, but it's more important to continue to get featured on all types of media over time. I'll repeat the same advice from the previous phase. Executing a long-term content strategy is not a job for one person. You need a team. Build an in-house content creation team and an outreach team to go out and get that earned media. This is an ongoing task, so it makes sense to have permanent staff working on it. Contractors and agencies are also options. Key people to hire: a content writer who can do keyword research and SEO and is AI savvy, podcast outreach, and PR specialist. If hiring is not your strong point, my team can build your team. Visit headofhiring.com and let us know who you need to hire and what you want them to do. Phase 3, paid media, short-term lead generation. Chances are you have used paid ads to get customers, or at least attempted to. Spending money to advertise on Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and other platforms are popular ways to reach people. I call this short-term lead generation because you can potentially get leads tomorrow. The challenge is making sure enough money comes back to cover the cost and make profit. The next challenge is consistency and scale. It can be particularly difficult to maintain and scale paid ads because of the low barriers to entry. Competitors can come in and outbid you, especially if they have lots of cash to spend or a sophisticated marketing funnel that returns a lot more cash on the back end. The ad platforms are constantly changing, so what works today might change tomorrow. To win at paid ads, you need to get sophisticated with how you use the ad platforms, and you need lots of ad media to test with. This gives you the assurance that you are optimizing your campaign, but it still doesn't guarantee it will work. The other key element, especially if you're going to scale up, is less about the ads and more about your business. The lifetime value of your customer directly impacts the ratio of dollars earned for dollars spent on ads. Lifetime value, how much you make on average from customers over the entire lifetime they purchase from you. If you make more money from each customer, you can afford to spend more on ads. You can scale your campaigns by spending more to reach more people, and you can outbid the competition who are going after the same people. I explained the importance of having high-quality marketing assets in phase 1 of this growth framework. They are also a critical tool for paid ads. Ads are how people first discover you, but the research they do about your company will be based on your website, your reviews, your testimonials, and your online presence. Without strong marketing assets, you're wasting your ad budget. This is why many companies complain that they spend money on ads with no sales. They may have good ads with the right targeting, resulting in lots of clicks, yet no one buys. If your first impression after the ad is weak, or the competition has much better marketing assets and online presence, you're not going to get the sale. Paid ad campaigns are not just about the ads and traffic. There are 3 interdependent layers you must continue to work on over time. 1. Optimize the ad campaigns, the media, targeting, cost per conversion. 2. Optimize the content prospect's experience after the ad click, the marketing assets. And 3. Optimize your business operations and offers, including pricing, to make more money per customer so you can spend more on paid ads. You have to do all the phases in this growth framework to get results. It's one big flywheel, with each phase enhancing the results of the others. How paid ads should fit into your marketing strategy. In the previous phase in this growth framework, I suggested doing both long-term lead generation using a content strategy at the same time as doing paid ads. I view these as departments in my company, with people managing them. I like knowing that both channels are being worked on, as chances are you will need multiple sources of new customers to reach $100,000 months. I've had some months where paid ads delivered most of my new customers, and others where organic search and AI delivered more. I'm not a paid ad expert, and I shouldn't need to be. This is a job for a specialist, a key person in your marketing team. I did manage ads for my company when we didn't have the cash to pay for a specialist, but I know I was doing a less than optimal job. The other element that is important for paid ads are the ads themselves. The copy, images, and videos all play a huge role in whether your campaigns succeed. The more media you have to test, the better you do. More is the answer because you always need to refresh your campaigns and test new hooks and angles with your messaging. Ad campaigns always deteriorate over time, so creating more media is a constraint you have to handle. Will paid ads work for your company? That's impossible for me to answer, but I do know you have to test them and test them fully to get a reliable yes or no. Here's the strategy I recommend you follow. 1. Test one paid ads platform at a time and put all your ad budget to work there. 2. Make sure your tests are optimized so you can reach a conclusion. A clear yes or no is what you want, not a maybe. 3. Unless you are an ads expert, hire a paid ads manager to run your campaigns for you. 4. Don't expand into other ad platforms until you have tested enough to know the current one is not working, or if it is working, you have maximized what you can get from it. And 5, leverage the media department you hired for your content strategy, see phase 2, to also make media for your paid ads. A technical breakdown into how to succeed with a paid ads campaign is beyond the scope of this guide and will quickly become out of date. I'm not the one to teach the topic because I'm not a paid media expert. However, there are some concepts that I consider good general advice learned from the campaigns we run that will help your paid ad campaigns. Start with the ad platform you feel has the best audience for what you sell. I started out with Google Ads because I wanted to go after the hot leads first, those actively searching for the service my company sold. Google did send us customers, but the actively searching audience was small, so we couldn't scale to $100,000 months from this channel alone. LinkedIn was the next best choice because we have a business-to-business service. Today, we still optimize our campaigns there. Collect a library of ads run by other companies and use them as inspiration for your ads. Your media creation department will need consistent ideas to come up with new ads to test. When you use YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so on, you will see ads every day. As you come across ads you like, whether it is the design, the copy, the hook, or the format, save them. Use these ads as inspiration to make versions for your company. There is no harm in copying. If you keep seeing an ad over time, chances are it's working for that company or they wouldn't keep running it. There's no need to be an advertising genius when all the inspiration you need is already online. Nurture an email subscriber list and deliver marketing content over time. My coaching business relied heavily on email marketing. Almost all of my sales came after a person received many educational marketing assets from me over time. As discussed previously, those warm leads need to be nurtured to build trust and eliminate all the objections that are stopping them from buying. Sending content through email means you show up again and again over time, so you're top of mind when they are ready to buy. This is how you manufacture good timing. Using paid ads to build your email list and nurturing the relationships with your subscribers by delivering marketing content works better than trying to make the sale direct from an ad click. It also gives you a marketing asset, your email database, you can return to again and again at no cost. Sell lower cost services to reduce the barrier to get a customer, then offer higher price services once they like and trust you. In order to build the trust necessary to make a higher price sale, you need more marketing and a longer sales cycle, multiple contacts over time. Some companies start by selling an entry-level service at a lower cost as it doesn't require as much marketing and sales to get the customer. There's no more powerful trust-building experience than buying a service and getting value. It's a lot easier to get an existing customer to buy more than it is to get a new customer. The same goes for upgrades. We have some clients with my current business that start on a $1,995 per month part-time service plan, then upgrade to full-time services at $4,995 a month. Look out for new ad platforms and use them while they are cheaper and less competitive. This isn't always an option, but it pays to keep an eye out for new platforms as they are rising. Any place where a large audience is building will likely end up having some kind of opportunity to advertise there eventually. Google, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, they were all new at one point and much cheaper to run paid ad campaigns on. Less competition from other advertisers means lower cost per click. As I explain this, ChatGPT has rapidly grown into a mainstream tool with a massive audience. It's yet to offer an advertising option, but I am confident it will. Being there early will be a huge opportunity. Of course, this is a temporary opportunity, but look out for it. Also, consider niche platforms that might not be as large, but could have the right audience for your business. For example, Pinterest and Reddit both have advertising platforms that are not as heavily used as the big sites. Is paid advertising all you need for $100,000 months? The short answer to this question is maybe. I'm sorry. Some companies only rely on paid media and get to $100,000 months and beyond. They devote time and resources to create and test new ads, create new marketing assets, experiment with targeting, build out a sales funnel with email, and increase how much they make per customer. I believe a long-term content strategy, see phase 2, and a paid media strategy, see phase 3, work very well in tandem, especially because you can use your content assets, see phase 1, for both. For example, the testimonial video assets we make for my company are used for organic content and as paid media ads. One of them went on to become our best ad on LinkedIn. When a keyword phrase brought in customers from paid Google ads, we created articles plus videos to organically rank for those terms. We rank in multiple top results in Google and in AI search results, which have both attracted new clients. The downside with paid ads is the low barrier to entry, thus highly competitive, and the potential to waste a lot of money for no results. Plus, of course, the obvious. You need money just to get started and to hire an ad manager. When my company was making $10,000 a month, we simply didn't have enough money to seriously experiment with paid ads. After paying our service delivery team and operating costs, we had about $1,000 left over to spend on marketing. Naturally, I attempted to be the advertising manager and quickly wasted that money on a paid Google campaign that brought in nothing. Thankfully, the work I did to ramp up our long-term content strategy started to pay off, which helped us to keep growing. This only cost my time to write articles and appear as a guest on podcasts. As we pushed towards $20,000 per month in revenue, we began hiring help to increase our content output and also increased our paid advertising budget. Eventually, we had enough cash flow that we could hire a specialist to take over running the paid ad campaigns as well. To reach $100,000 months, we needed multiple lead generation channels. The combination of improving our marketing assets, long-term content marketing, and paid ads is what got us to $100,000 months. It wasn't easy, money was wasted, I experienced a roller coaster of emotions, and frankly, it took about twice as long as I expected. But we got there and are still growing today. My hope is that by learning from my experience, you can get there faster. You can see that doing all of this alone is not only very hard, it's just a bad decision. Being the ad campaign manager, the ad creative designer, the copywriter, video editor, and so on is a big job. And the learning curve is steep. Trust me, I tried to do all of these roles myself, so I know. However, the real danger is not being able to trust your experiments to draw conclusions. The key to success is consistent iteration, small improvements, learning from each test. If you can't trust your experiments, you can't trust your results, whether positive or negative, and thus you can't improve. For example, you run an ad on Facebook and Instagram, Meta. The money spent to bring in clicks results in no sales. Was the audience targeting wrong? Is there some hidden setting that resulted in all your money spent on clicks from people over 65 years old? The answer isn't necessarily obvious. But if you can't even figure out where the settings are or how to interpret the data, you're lost. An expert understands the tools, has experience from other campaigns to draw on, and can confidently reach enough of a conclusion to know what change is necessary for the next experiment. The other reasons you need a team are speed and volume. Doing it all yourself means output is slow and capped. If iteration is slow, learning is slow. All of these things mean results are slow, if they happen at all. As our company grew, we hired the following people: an article writer and researcher, a video slide designer to turn the articles into videos with audio voiceover, an agency got us bookings for interviews on podcasts, experts stepped in to help run Google and LinkedIn ads, an agency provided video editing to create media for ads, and film crews were hired to create hero testimonial videos. A true business is a team effort, especially if you want it to grow faster and without you being a roadblock. Key people to hire: an ad campaign manager, an ad media creative team for graphics and video. If hiring is not your strong point, my team can build your team. Visit headofhiring.com and let us know who you need to hire and what you want them to do. Phase 4, marketing experiments, fail fast. The 3 previous phases of this growth framework are all you need to reach $100,000 months. That being said, sometimes nothing is working, or you plateau, or go backwards. We've had many growth plateaus with all 3 of the businesses I've started. Each time I had to find a way to break through to the next level. There are times when a reliable source of new customers stops working. This forces you to consider new options. Sometimes, to get a growth breakthrough, we had to do a better job with an existing channel, usually more content of a higher quality with help from specialists. But that doesn't always work. This is when it's time to run new marketing experiments. I also believe that, as scary as it can feel, sometimes the right choice is to kill a channel even if it is working okay, but not taking you to where you want to go. This creates a forcing function to do new things and frees up the budget to experiment. New can be the pathway to much greater results. What got you to $10,000 a month may not be what will get you to $100,000 a month. Experiments and failing fast. With my company, we have two objectives with new marketing experiments. One, complete enough of a test to reach a conclusion within a specific budget. We either see signs of life and keep going, or we kill it. Two, failing is a likely outcome, so we want to fail fast so we can move on to the next experiment. Here's some examples from my businesses. We hired a podcast agency for $1,000 a month to get bookings on shows. This gave us two immediate outcomes when each podcast was published: incoming links and direct exposure. And eventually helped us get clients, so we continued to run the campaign for almost 2 years. 1 month Twitter advertising campaign with a $1,000 budget. We got one client within a couple of weeks, so we kept going, but then stopped after 3 months with no more results. Google was doing better, so we put the budget to work there instead. Hiring an agency to take over managing our LinkedIn ad campaigns. $2,500 a month for 3 months. The results were no better than my own campaigns, so we stopped to free up the cash. Running ads on 2 different email newsletters, a one-time fee for each newsletter. These both resulted in no leads, so we stopped. Conduct a product launch campaign with affiliates promoting. This was for my coaching business. There were several aspects to this experiment, but I want to highlight the affiliates component. This was the first time I proactively went and asked people who had an audience if they would promote my offer in exchange for a commission. Affiliates brought in over 100 new customers to an online course. Because of this success, I continued to involve affiliates in campaigns for the next 2 years. They became my second largest source of new customers. Everything is an experiment to begin with. Years ago, I tested Google paid ads with a small budget, and it brought in sales calls. We kept going, and it brought in customers. Then it plateaued for years, although we kept spending to get what we could, and it made a meaningful contribution towards reaching $100,000 months. Just recently, I turned off Google paid ads because the results had become negligible, and I wanted to use the budget for new experiments. Marketing is a forever experiment. When I coach entrepreneurs, I'm always surprised that my clients don't truly grasp how much marketing they have to do to get customers. They set up websites and landing pages, often poorly designed ones with weak copy, then run a Facebook ad campaign to the page and complain they never get sales. And that was just one experiment. There were so many things they need to fix with their campaign, and even then they were just scratching the surface of what was needed to succeed. See phases 1, 2, and 3 of this growth framework. This is not a one-time effort. You will fail fast. You will need to experiment many times, and even when something works, you will have to continue experimenting with that channel to keep it growing or to keep it consistent. Generally speaking, if you haven't tested paid ads before, that is the first channel to experiment with, assuming your first impression marketing assets are strong and you have at least $1,000 a month to spend. Here's a list of marketing experiments to consider. The big ad platforms, Google, YouTube, Meta, LinkedIn, TikTok. Smaller ad platforms, Bing, Reddit, Pinterest, Twitter. Cold email, cold calls, cold LinkedIn direct messages, social content, grow a YouTube channel, newsletter ads, grow your own newsletter, speak at events, join masterminds, podcast interviews, press coverage, earned media, write a book, and affiliate marketing. Each one of these marketing channels can get you customers. Each of them also requires expertise to make work. Given you are trying to grow towards $100,000 months, you don't likely have the budget to experiment with more than one at a time. When we were under $50,000 per month, given our operational expenses, we typically had 5% to 10% of that to spend on marketing. Some of that would go to maintain whatever campaign was working. For my company at one stage, that was $1,000 a month to a podcast agency and $500 a month to $2,000 a month for Google paid ads and or LinkedIn paid ads. When we did experiments, we aimed to spend $1,000 per month for a 3-month campaign. Sometimes we'd spend $2,000 to $3,000 for a once-off experiment or to hire a consultant or agency. Everything depends on cash flow and what was working or not working already. Given small budgets, it's better to do concentrated experiments with enough money to at least reach a conclusion. A conclusion means your campaign works or it doesn't in terms of generating some kind of response. It also means the experiment reached enough people that you can make the conclusion. If no one saw the campaign, you can't say if it works or not. This is why concentrating a budget in one experiment is generally better because you have enough cash to reach enough people. 3-month experiment time is enough runway to warm up a campaign and calibrate it. It might not be until the 2nd or 3rd month when you can see the campaign is dialed in enough to draw a conclusion. Defining an audience, warming up a leads list, or testing ad media before ramping up ad spend all take time. Marketing experiments are the solution to your growth problem. You need to reach new people every day and improve all aspects of your campaigns. This needs to be a personal habit and a machine driven by people and processes in your company. Get the habit, build the machine. What experiment should you do next? What you sell, your budget, available marketing assets, and your history of results will help you determine what marketing experiment to do next. There are no shortage of experiments you can run. You should never be lost for options. You're more likely paralyzed by choice and restricted by budget. You probably have a hunch or a gut feeling about what might work. Perhaps you need to educate yourself more about the options before diving in. The most important thing is you don't stop experimenting. It's the failing fast attitude that matters because marketing is forever. You can't stop unless you want your business to stop. One additional note about attitude or mindset. Failing fast is a helpful reframe to protect your motivation. Being in charge of marketing can be a roller coaster. You devote money, time, and energy into things that may deliver no result. If this happens many times for long enough, it can kill your motivation. Even when a campaign works, it might start to die or suddenly stop working without any kind of obvious reason why. For me, failing fast is a reflection of a big mindset shift. Through growing my 3 companies, I came to realize that marketing doesn't stop. There won't be some miracle breakthrough because even when something works, it doesn't work forever. I realized I had to stop seeing marketing as a task I personally did. That wasn't ever going to be sustainable. Now I see myself as the orchestrator of a team of people who keep running experiments. As long as there is cash flow, we keep testing. My role is to bring together skilled people, permanent team members, contractors, consultants, and agencies who work together to test and grow marketing channels. They have the knowledge, expertise, and experience. They do the work to run the tests. I am there for guidance and feedback, but they do the execution. The obvious benefit of this shift is bringing talent in to do things I'm not good at and to do more things at once than I could possibly do myself. However, what isn't as obvious, but just as important, is the perpetual output possible. A team is leveraged output and ongoing output. You need both. Put in simple terms, in order to solve the forever marketing problem, you need to build a marketing machine in your company. This is the topic of Phase 5 coming up next. To hit $100,000 months, you need to reach more potential customers. In order to do this, you need talented people running marketing experiments and optimizing existing campaigns. Key hires: specialists for each marketing experiment, cold outreach specialists, emails, calls, LinkedIn, podcast guesting, media team for content experiments, video editor, thumbnail designer, graphic editor, newsletter writer, ad platform specialists, LinkedIn, Meta, Google, etc. If hiring is not your strong point, my team can build your team. Visit headofhiring.com and let us know who you need to hire and what you want them to do. Phase 5, Marketing Departments, Forever Marketing Machine. As an entrepreneur, you've likely read advice on the power of team building. Delegation is the path to growth. Every foundational business book, from the E-Myth to Good to Great, reinforces this. You have to remove yourself from technician roles, get the right people filling the right seats on the bus, and so on. Scale requires leverage. Leverage comes from people. In this $100,000 growth framework, I revealed the following 4 phases to work through. 1, growth assets. 2, content foundation. 3, paid media. 4, marketing experiments. Each phase requires constant development. There's no such thing as being done. These are forever functions in your company. Hiring skilled people to help you execute each phase is the only way to sustain growth. People can help you create your main website, video presentations, landing pages, lead magnets, email sequences, newsletters, social media content, and testimonial videos. They can get you on podcasts, YouTube channels, feature on media websites, build incoming links, do keyword research, and help your web pages rank in AI and Google search. They can run your paid media campaigns on the big platforms like Google and Meta, test keywords, track results, build audience lists, retarget leads, send cold emails, book sales calls, follow up on LinkedIn, run campaigns on newsletters, YouTube, Reddit, TikTok, Pinterest, and so on. Let's not forget, you need people to run operations and delivery as well. My company currently has a team of 80 people delivering our service and another 8 people in our leadership and hiring team. The amount of roles you need to fill are potentially endless, yet your budget is small. This is the challenge. You need to use the cash flow you have to hire the right people to do the right tasks based on the phase you are working on now. Build marketing departments as you grow. I mentioned earlier in this guide that I have 2 marketing departments in my company. 1, a content team, and 2, a paid advertising team. There's also a 3rd department, 3, sales and follow-up, a conversion team. Potential customers discover us via Google, AI chat, paid ads, referrals, and whatever experiment we are currently running. For the hottest leads, once they see our first impression marketing assets, they typically book a call and purchase. Of course, not everyone who books a call shows up, and not everyone who shows up purchases. Our conversion team do sales calls and send emails, text messages, and do phone calls to follow up with prospects and to get them to either show up on a call or purchase. Not too long ago, my conversion team was just me. I did all the sales calls and all the follow-up, and I wasn't always consistent with the follow-up. Our paid advertising team is an ad manager who tests and tweaks campaigns on the big ad platforms. We've sourced ad media, banners and videos from agencies, a subscription design service, and Upwork and Fiverr contractors. Not too long ago, my paid advertising team was just me. I used to manage all the ads myself, and I made the videos and banners. I wasn't great at any of these tasks. Our content team is an article writer and researcher, augmented by AI. We used an agency to get exposure on podcasts and to create content assets like testimonial videos. Not too long ago, my content team was just me. I wrote the articles, I scrambled to build links, create videos, and get exposure through any media channel I could. I was pretty good at this because of my background with my education company. Some opportunities for exposure opened up because of my relationships and prior reputation as a content creator. This helped to get my new company started, but it wasn't enough to get even close to $100,000 months. Our marketing departments were not created overnight and are dynamic. We use agencies, contractors, and hire team members as we have the need and the budget. The goal is to determine what actions lead to more customers and then get people and systems in place to keep those activities happening. You should aim to build your own marketing departments in the order that makes sense for your current situation, given the cash flow you have. Ideally, as you invest in marketing capacity, you bring in more customers, increasing cash flow to further build out your marketing teams. In reality, nothing is linear. There are growth spurts and plateaus, team members who leave, and experiments that don't deliver. The goal remains the same. Build out your marketing machine made up of each department, which collectively deliver the following outcomes. 1. New marketing assets created, existing ones optimized. 2. Content distributed and exposure created. 3. Paid ad campaigns spun up and optimized. 4. Marketing experiments executed and performance assessed. 5. Sales and conversion processes operating consistently. You might be hands-on for a lot of these departments currently. Hiring just one person who can take on several steps of your marketing and sales process will make a difference. As you build out your marketing departments, your role becomes less and less about being the technician who does the work and instead the leader of a team. Technology automation. Your marketing must leverage technology, especially given advancements with AI. Following up over email, text message, and phone calls can be delivered dynamically using software. Articles, scripts, and ad copy can be written by AI. AI can also help with research, provide data, and answer questions. Website design, graphics, and videos can be created using AI prompts, although in my experience still require human direction to get production ready. Chatbots can automate conversations, customer support and sales, and workflow tools can push leads through various software platforms without human intervention. From lead capture to email sequences, chat tools, cold outreach to CRMs, and so on. There are many marketing software and AI tools available, and new ones launch every day. Keeping up with advancements in tools can turn into a full-time job. I task people in my marketing departments to experiment with new tools and make sure we get the most of the software we already use. Using AI should be a default practice for your marketing team. Don't make it optional, it has to become part of standard workflows. Your internal management team. The purpose of the 5 phases in this framework is growth. Growth can happen if you are not free to focus on building all the elements you need to work through the 5 phases. If the day-to-day operations of your company don't leave you any time or energy to focus on marketing, this is the problem to solve. In my company, we have an operations team that my co-founder leads. These people do hiring and support our larger team who delivers services to clients. They effectively run the day-to-day delivery of what our company sells. This management team was not something that we could afford from day one. As we grew, my co-founder and I realized it was risky that so much of what made our company work was reliant on us. Over the years that followed, as cash flow increased, we promoted several of our team members into management roles, handing over tasks that previously my co-founder did. I was able to do the same by building out marketing departments. If you don't have the time to work on marketing, you need to start delegating whatever it is that is taking so much of your time to an operations person. This person can be the start of your management team who eventually run your company. I suspect you already know what tasks are taking your time, and you also know that growth won't happen until you hire a team to help. Hiring an executive assistant who can take on tasks like email, customer support, software management, and so on can make a huge difference. It's a great step 1 towards building your operations team. What about referrals? I can't end a guide on growth without mentioning referrals. If you've ever experienced a referral become a customer, you already know how amazing it is. We've had many referrals who just show up ready to buy. They book a sales call, have a few logistical questions, then sign up. Referrals are almost always the hottest leads. They come from a happy customer who recommends what you sell because they have already benefited from it. This is powerful because the person referred immediately trusts the recommendation. Your company instantly becomes the preferred choice. To generate referrals, you need happy customers. The more value your current customers experience, the more likely they are to refer others. This is yet another reason why you need to make sure your operations side of the business is running well. When services are delivered by talented team members who provide excellent customer service and go above and beyond to make sure your clients are happy, referrals organically occur. If your operations are not solid, errors creep in, delays happen, systems are not defined so people forget to do things, clients have negative outcomes. This kills any chance of ever getting a referral. Building an internal management team is also a good marketing decision. The better your operations run, the happier customers are, the more likely they generate referrals. You can do things to manually stimulate referrals. Offering incentives like money to encourage referrals can help. Building in processes that ask clients if they have any colleagues or contacts who might need your services is a good idea. We do both of these things. If you're not getting any referrals now, either your company is too small, you need customers to refer new customers, or your services are not generating the kind of value for your customers that they talk about it to others. Focus on operations, value, support, and referrals will come. If in doubt, ask your clients for feedback. We have check-in processes that give us direct feedback from our clients as they go through onboarding, then month 3, month 6, and so on. This helps us isolate problems before they lead to cancellations and improves our services. Referrals will become a significant source of new customers as you grow towards $100,000 months. As you get better at what you do, build teams, and have a larger customer base, referrals will organically occur. Throughout this guide, I've highlighted the need to hire people to help you grow. While I might say this as something simple, the truth is that hiring is one of the greatest challenges for a founder and has always been a weakness for me. At first, I was hesitant to hire simply because I didn't want to spend the money. Then, as I realized growth could only come from team building, I began to hire people myself. After many bad experiences hiring people who ended up costing me money and time without much in return, I came to realize that I can't be the person in charge of hiring. I decided that I need to hire a person to be my head of hiring. This decision eventually led to the somewhat ironic twist that today I am co-founder of a staffing solutions company. Because of my weakness in hiring, I always relied on a person, and today a team, who does all the recruitment for me. My co-founder for my current company spent the last 8 years building out a hiring process that powers our business. It's the value that our company provides. Our clients don't want to post openings on freelance sites, job boards, the big hiring websites like LinkedIn and Indeed, or figure out which talent agency to work with. They don't want to deal with filtering away the wrong applicants, running skill tests, reference checks, interviews, and everything else that you need to do well to find the best talent. Instead, we do this for them. Our company recruits and tests talent every day. We are an outsourced hiring department. We learn what roles our clients need to fill and the goals they are working towards. We want to know what new hires are going to help our clients achieve so we can determine the best hiring strategy. Once we are clear on objectives, we get to work running the appropriate hiring process. This can include sourcing talent from our existing team or spinning up recruitment processes by writing job briefs, posting openings on job boards and the big hiring sites, proactively seeking talent through referrals and direct approach, or selecting a niche-specific talent agency and managing the placement process with them. We have the benefit of having both a talent pool, our existing team, ready to work, and a recruitment team that can run new hiring processes. We're also not tied to a specific source of talent. We can go to hiring agencies, niche job websites, hire overseas or onshore. We can even work with clients to leverage their own audience to recruit new team members. Sometimes the best hires come from within your audience. You still have to manage the hiring process to find the unique individuals who are subscribed to your email list or watch your YouTube videos or listen to your podcast. Given how important team building is, you can't simply hope the right people will just show up. To source great talent, you have to go out there and run a recruitment process, assess applications, conduct interviews, skill test, check references, and so on. If you speak to the most successful founders, they will state that key to their company growth is the quality of their team. When you next need to hire someone, my team can build your team. Visit headofhiring.com and let us know who you need to hire and what you want them to do. As we reach the end of this growth framework, you should feel clarity about how to grow your services company to $100,000 months. There's nothing to do that is overly complicated. You can make this happen for your company. The challenge is doing the work each day, especially when results seem far away. There's strategic content to create and skills required to run marketing processes that will reliably bring in new customers. A key concept to remember is the compounding impact of the flywheel you are building and how at first it can seem like nothing is happening. Every day you add something to your growing marketing machine. Even though you don't see any results today, in the months and years ahead, you will be glad you put in the effort to build the foundation. Each marketing asset you create helps convince people to buy from you. As you publish more content and create more points of exposure, new people discover you and your reputation grows. You will invest time and money to run paid advertising campaigns that will give you conclusive results. When you hit a plateau or it seems nothing is working, you have a plan to run new marketing experiments to reach new potential customers. All of this comes together as you build a team who can run your marketing departments and your operations for you. This gives you the most important thing: consistency. Your company needs people to keep things moving forward. This includes servicing your customers and running marketing campaigns to keep new customers coming in. These are functions that can't stop, so you need people and systems to keep them going and improving over time. With this growth framework, you know that there is a way forward no matter what situation you are in. There is always a new experiment that can be done or a new team member you can hire to solve a problem. Thanks for making it all the way to the end. Here's to growing our companies. This is Yaro. P.S. If you have a friend who could benefit from the 5 phases in this growth framework, send them to insidegrowth.com to get access for free. P.P.S. When you need to hire operational or marketing staff, or you have friends who need to, go to headofhiring.com and my team can help grow your team.